So I'll be honest, sometimes life can really overwhelm me. And by a little, I mean a lot. And in order to regain that control in this roller coaster ride we call life, I like to organize stuff. So today's prime subject to my insanity, my mental health, my everything and all of the above is my closet. I haven't done this in a few years, so it could get scary. So here's the game plan. We're gonna take it step by step. Different categories for different clothes, sort each one, figure out what doesn't fit, what I don't like, what's not fashionable anymore, all of the above, and go from there. That was cool. And those different categories are, tops, so t-shirts, sweatshirts, bottoms, so jeans, shorts, sweatpants, undergarments, so underwear, socks, miscellaneous stuff like that. An athletic section, so workout tops, workout bottoms. More dressy attire, so button-downs, suits. Jackets from rain and outdoor to everyday nice stuff. And finally, pajamas, so just like comfortable everyday stuff. So here's the cleaning out the closet, but also metaphorically cleaning out my life. It's definitely one of those things where you wake up, go to your closet, your dresser, you see the abundance of choice, and then you always just go to the same old stuff. And when that selection is so big, it doesn't really specialize or zone in on anything, kind of like a buffet analogy. And I wanted to kind of condense things so that everything spoke to me and everything was at least tempting for me to grab on a daily basis or semi-regular basis. All of these dress shirts are a really good example of kind of what my closet and my dressers are like, where, I liked all of these. I wore them at a certain point, barring the few exceptions where the designs are pretty crazy. But it's just, I've outgrown them, I've outgrown the style, or physically outgrown them, and they're just sitting in my closet. So it's time to move them on, whether it be donating, sell them. These ones are in the go pile. Challenges like this seem really simple on the surface level, but as you start, grabbing certain items that you haven't worn for a while that hold sentimental value, it really made it much harder than I thought it was going to be. There are certain shirts, certain pants, certain everything that you just have a connection to. Like, this is the prime example of a shirt that I really like. It's just way too small. I was wearing this on a beach in Italy 2 years ago. Now look at it, I could rip this thing in half. And sadly, there's a lot like these, which is a shame because, again, I really liked this shirt. And that all reminded me of something that I read recently where it's just like, clothes aren't just clothes. They're memories, they're identities, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, sometimes they are clutter. So choosing which memories and which identities you want to keep, and which ones, will remain clutter, and, moving on from there is a big decision, and it's a tough decision sometimes. This one feels like I'm wearing a wetsuit. The main thing that changed in that, year and a half, 2 years from the Europe trip where I was wearing all these button downs, all these shirts on the beaches, as I said, I started taking my health and fitness more seriously by going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, working out, and thus putting on muscle and changing the shape of my body. And as sad as it is to see some of these shirts go, because I really love the designs on them, I honestly just got them 2 years ago, I tried reminding myself that there is, a silver lining to it, that although those shirts don't fit anymore, it's because I've taken my, fitness journey seriously. I've made progress. I can visually see it on myself, and if I couldn't, or I couldn't believe it, like, my clothes say otherwise. Okay, so quick update. I went through the dresser, went through a little bit of the closet. This pile is going to be hard keeps. This pile with this pile, hard no's, tried them on, or either they've just been sitting for way too long, not going to use them anymore. This pile is a current on the fence. So I'll try those on, decide whether to keep them, whether to get rid of them, sell them, donate, burn them. Who knows, but that's the update. All right, so I'm pretty sure all of these are hard keeps. I didn't want to add it to the pile because I didn't want a Jenga catastrophe happening in my room, so I just kept them here. All of these I need to try on, though. I think I'm okay with that. Maybe we'll do another pass by, but we'll swap to the other side first. a ridiculously large pile on the fences, so bear with me as I try all of this on. I think the crazy thing too is that clothes reflect so much of our identity. They're such a big part of who we are, and for majority of people, myself included, at a certain point, closets are just all sprawled out. They lack the cohesion and the sense of who you are. And whether that be who you are now, who you want to be, or who you were in the past, your clothes say it all, and it's important to, take the moments to take control of those times. And those pieces that can really say a lot about you. I'm gonna point out a few really great pieces that I'm very happy with. This was a thrift find, actually. Nice Adidas sweater. It's actually Real Madrid sponsored, which could be a little tease for something to come, but I've always loved this. Great thrift find for myself. Always gotta have your button down, nice shirts as well, and this one feels really good on my skin, on my muscles, and it makes me feel like Chris Evans, so I like it. And to help with this organization, I got a few of these, which are drawer dividers. They kind of just get stuck inside the drawer, help you divide certain sections, certain clothes. So visually look nicer, and it'll just give me a little bit more peace of mind, which is kind of what I'm going for. This kind of led to a new folding and wardrobe technique where you fold your clothes a certain way so that you can see all the different prints and layouts on all the shirts, and you can see them all at a time. I found what I used to do is stack all the shirts on top of each other, and that way the ones at the bottom hardly ever got used. So laying them all out like that, where you can visually see them all, see which ones you haven't worn in a while and wear those ones, I think will be beneficial down the road. Plus it also just looks so much nicer. Okay, so we've actually made really great progress. I picked out my selects, kind of what I wanted to keep, what I was on the fence on, tried that stuff on, and now I'm just slowly putting everything back into the dressers, into the closet, wherever it needs to go. I do have a few pieces though that I'm gonna call 1 year buffers, where they're just getting a little too small, and I think in a year's time frame, I'm probably gonna have to pass them on. But for this summer, this year, I'm gonna try to get as most as I can out of them, and then bid a final farewell to them. All right, so here we have 3 piles of clothes that are either sell, donate, find a new home for them, because they've served me everything that they can. It's either I don't like them, I've outgrown them, or it's just time to find them a new home. So that's what we're gonna do with them. I'm gonna miss you guys. You've all been really good, especially you, Captain America, but I think it's time to move on. I know this might be a really small thing, but if I can color code the sweater to the clothes hanger, I'm gonna do it. I think we're done. Look at this. Look at this. Look how neatly organized. It's even color coded, which is something that 99% of people will never be able to notice or care about, but I do, and that's all that honestly really matters. Some were definitely tough. I used to love either the way they made me feel or the way they looked on me or that version of myself, but now I outgrew that. I outgrew that version of myself, that clothing, literally, or just who I was at that time. And that's okay, and I think people forget that sometimes. As I said, life is chaotic, messy, and kind of out of control, so whenever you can take a little bit of control, try to. So while life can be a little discombobulating and kind of out of your control, some things aren't out of your control. This being one of them. So here's to organizing all of the little things that hopefully add up to all the bigger things. Thanks for watching. I'm Marco Pera, and as always, ciao for now.